Yo guys, what is going on? It is Invin here, and today what I'm bringing to you guys is a video on the update that is going to be coming with the February release. And specifically today what I'm going to be covering is the changes to Outpost Rush. As you guys will be able to see on the screen, there is quite a lot of these, and they are very, very important. It's a lot of really good stuff that a lot of us have been hoping for quite a while. And on top of that, lots of bugs, as you can see, lots of tuning, and also some changes to the rewards. All of this is some very, very good stuff, and whether you've played it already and you don't know all of the notes, whether you've read over this but you want to recap, or whether you haven't read into this at all yet, any of those situations, this is going to be useful info to know, because it is going to really dramatically affect the way that Outpost Rush works in the game, and basically the level of importance people place on it, because this is going to make it a lot more valuable. So without further ado, we're going to jump into it. If you haven't already done so, please do go down below and drop a subscribe to the channel. Only about 20% of the people that watch my videos are actually subscribed, so if you are in that 80%, please do make sure you go down below and drop a subscribe to the channel. It's completely free, and you can always unsubscribe later should you wish to do so. Without further ado, let's jump into this one. So, the first thing first is bugs. As you guys can see, there is quite a substantial list, really, of bug fixes from this. They have fixed an issue causing the corrupted legionnaire to have no stamina. They've fixed an issue causing the corrupted priest hounds to quickly appear skinnable upon the death. Fixed an issue causing the Outpost Rush fort barriers to show the name of objects the player had previously interacted with. Fixed an incorrect description present on the brute summoning stone. Fixed an issue causing turrets to appear as if they were on fire after being rebuilt from the destroyed state. Fixed an issue preventing the command post in Outpost Rush from properly showing up as a ghost, and fixed an issue with the Outpost Rush map appearing misaligned. Now, those are all basically QOL and kind of polishing type things that we've seen there, all of which are going to streamline the game, and they are very, very good. But the tuning is where we start to see the big chunk of what has happened here. So, they've reworked the scoring. This is a massive thing. Yeah, maybe some healers might not be too happy with this, because we were able to absolutely farm this out as healers, but you will still get a lot of points for that. What they've now done, though, is dealing damage now increases the player's score. So again, if you're dealing damage with the life staff as well as healing, you're going to be getting some, but also for all of you damage dealers and even the tanks out there that were trying to get some damage down, you will actually get score for this now, which is amazing. You also have seen reduce the amount of points granted from killing players, so you're going to get less for kills, more for doing damage, so it's just about helping the team. If you get the kill, you get a little bit of bonus, but not a massive one. But it still, gives you an extra couple of points lead, whereas just being involved in the fights, helping out, is going to be much more beneficial. And they've also reduced the amount of points granted from killing AI, so you are going to have to actually PvP in this mode if you wanted to come out on top, and obviously be able to gain access to those rewards, the better rewards, and of course, get that gypsum if you're doing it for those reasons as well. Visually, they have changed their nameplate of several Outpost Rush AI to better clarify their difficulty. The changes in nameplate do not mean that they were tuning changes to those AI unless called out below, so bear in mind they haven't been changed necessarily, they've just had a different nameplate put on so that you can see them better. But they have had, however, increased the health of the corrupted priest by 10%. They've reduced the damage dealt by the corrupted brute by 10%. Reduced the health of the corrupted brute by 13%, and summon ghosts and summon bears now take 150% bonus damage from siege damage. So you're using the siege in Outpost Rush now is seemingly much more effective to take out those enemy summons. Summon corrupted brutes now take 200% bonus from siege damage. So again, following on from that, if you are able to get down a siege, whether it's on one of the outposts or some of the cannons that kind of sit in the wild, let's say, in between the points, you are going to be able to take out those a lot easier with those siege weapons, which I think is a really, really good kind of emphasis on making use of the PvE section of the game as well, but using it to be able to basically succeed in the PvP part, which is great. That's what this mode should be about. Now, they've also increased the base damage of the repeater by 20%, so watch out for siege if you're a player as well as a mob, and I've also increased the base damage of the fire dropper by 16%. So again, siege is going to be becoming really effective in these modes. Watch out for those, especially the repeaters 20%. That's going to be a high amount of DPS if you are in light or medium armor. Even in heavy, it's going to shred, but light and medium, you need to seriously watch out. So this could change the whole level playing field and how people kind of operate. Obviously, if you've got a ranged weapon, you can ping people off the siege pretty easily, but if you're a melee guy, watch out for those. They've also increased the benefit of having more friendly players on a control point. Each friendly player on an uncontested point now reduces the time it takes to capture that point by 3 seconds. It was previously 1.5, so it's double as quick for the players on there. On an uncontested point, this benefit maxes out at 10 players for a minimum capture time of 30 seconds, which is pretty quick. And again, it was down from a minute there. Maxes out at 10, so you can have half your team doing that whilst the other half do a different objective or whatever, but you do want to try and get 10 people on an objective where you can to max out that speed. They've also reduced the length of the Baroness Haynes score lock from 3 minutes to 2.5. They've replaced the explosive barrel launchers on either side of Outpost Sol with ballista turrets. These cost 50 infused ore and 50 infused wood to build and will be great tools in taking down the defenses of the Outpost Sol. Adjusted the emplacements so that they're more flush with the ground to make sense, little polishing type thing there. They have also adjusted the rewards granted from Outpost Rush. Now this is a huge section, so this is really important. Outpost Rush now rewards Umbral shards upon completion of a match. This is massive. This is something I talked about when the Umbral system came out, that PvP was not really getting a look in. This is fantastic. 100 shards for the winning team and 50 shards for the losing team, which is actually really good because it means, you know, you're going to have a chance to be able to get some of these alongside, you know, when you've done your keys for the week of the mutated expeditions. It's also going to give you a really good chance to build up a nice stack from PvPing, or not even touching the expeditions if you don't want to. You can still get these up. Yes, it does cost like 9.7k or something to get an item maxed, so it's going to be a lot of Outpost Rush if you don't do any PvE with it. So this alone wouldn't get you to the max level gear very easily, but what it does do is provide a little bit of a boost when you're doing your other gypsum tasks, and PvP players with a little bit of a boost, probably easily obtainable 610, 615 gear score, maybe even 620 if you're someone who plays it a lot. And then if you do need to push into those later rounds, it's going to mean that you can actually get to the higher ones in the expedition should you want to push for that a lot easier, because you're already going to have that higher level gear score. Now, 50 get awarded to the losing team as well, so everybody gets them, which is pretty good, but players must meet the minimum score threshold to be eligible for this reward. This will be in the next PTR update, so it's coming pretty soon. Outpost Rush now rewards faction tokens on completion of a match. Again, massively important. It does give you the mutation keys, it does give you the regular keys, they give you access to chisels, a whole host of other things that require these faction tokens, so that's really, really good. And again, players must meet the minimum threshold score to be eligible for this reward, so bear that in mind. But again, two really, really pivotal updates that I think are massively beneficial towards the way that New World is moving. Now, Outpost Rush caches now reward 2 pieces of Outpost Rush specific armor and an Outpost Rush specific weapon. There is also an additional 15% chance for a 4th item, which would be a piece of Outpost Rush jewelry. So again, massively important this. 2 pieces of armor every single time and a weapon every single time, which are Outpost Rush specifics, which is really cool. Then you have a 15% chance to get a Outpost Rush jewelry, and of course this does have a chance to increase your expertise as well, which is something that we'll see further down the list addressed as well, which is amazing because this means, again, it's another thing that can help you out in that grind. Now, there is a 2.5% chance that a rolled Outpost Rush item is a named item, the same chance as exists today, but they're just outlining that it's a 2.5% chance for that one, which is nice to have some clarity on. Significantly increase the likelihood that the rewards in Outpost Rush cache will increase the player's expertise. So there you go. If you're not already up to the maximum, these have a significantly increased likelihood, and this is particularly useful for a lot of people, as it is for myself as well. You know, for the weapons you don't use as much, you might not have up to the 590, 600 level. And of course, then your jewelry is something which for me is lacking behind. I know for a lot of other players it's the same. And if you do get that 15% chance for the jewelry, it procs and it's an expertise increaser. That is going to be really beneficial. So props to them for that. That's going to be a great way for PvP players to get more back in the loop. And I think that's a great addition. Now, Outpost Rush gear now rolls off a fixed list of perks that are more ideal for PvP combat. This means that traits like Beast Ward won't be found on Outpost Rush gear, which is really good. Again, it means it's actually usable stuff. So even when you're still getting your gear score up, maybe you don't have max expertise, or those of us that do, it is still worth rolling there because you're going to then get a chance to get some best in slot, or at least very, very good pieces that you're able to build into a solid PvP set, because they're not going to have any kind of wayward perks on, which is really, really really good stuff. Then we've seen that they've removed Beast Ward from the Illusionary Enigma and replaced it with Keen. Please note that this change isn't retroactive and it will only be applied to new Illusionary Enigmas granted after this patch. So a weapon you can get from Outpost Rush, and that will make a big difference because of course Beast Ward was not that useful for PvP, but Keen of course is going to be useful for PvP, so that's really good. And then finally here, players can now access the scoreboard while waiting for a respawn. Just a QOL update there, but I really like that one. It's worth throwing in at the end because for me, it's probably the only time I would actually check the scoreboard during a match. So having the ability to do that whilst I'm respawning, if I do respawn of course, then that is really, really good. So I like this. Overall, fantastic changes. I think this is going to appease a lot of PvP players. I think it's going to give those that are still actively pursuing PvP in New World a breath of fresh air when this drops, and maybe it will bring back some players that weren't enjoying it as much because they weren't able to keep up to the same standard as PvE or crafting or whatever, a chance to come back to the game and enjoy that a bit more in its fullness. Of course, you know, with the bug fixes and the QL updates mixed in there as well, this is actually shaping up to be a fantastic update in my opinion. Obviously, that's because I'm really enjoying the game and I really do like Outpost Rush as a mode, especially with all this stuff added. But of course, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. As always, keep it respectful, keep it constructive if you can, but let me know what you're thinking about this update so far. But other than that, guys, that is going to be it for today. So again, thank you very much for watching. If you are new to the channel, make sure you drop a subscribe down below with the notification bells on so that you don't miss an upload. Make sure you drop a like on today's video as well if you have found it useful and informative, and of course help me appease the algorithm gods, which would be amazing. Other than that, guys, as always, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you again tomorrow with a brand new upload. Take care, guys, and peace.